I'll actually get started here. You know, I don't expect this to be a super long meeting or anything like that, but the main thing that I wanted to be able to do was just allow, anybody that is on here to be able to ask any questions that they might have about what it might look like. I know I sent out that email, and by the way, for those that aren't on video, can't see me, Coach Montani, Dan Montani. I'm the current head women's soccer coach here at UW-Whitewater. So, couple of you I know, obviously I've coached you, Peyton, Margot, I see you're on here. And then my wife is on here as well, actually. She was played at the same time I did. And then we got a couple others on here as well, Carrie and Jen. And so, yeah, so really, I kind of sent that email, and I did kind of, kind of discuss what, the program looks like, what the intention is, but more or less really just trying to, engage our alumni with our current players, allow them to, um, really just connect and be able to provide some guidance and some insight that our current players might find useful, and hopefully be able to build some positive relationships that way. And then, really just kind of bridge that gap between, the current and the past players. I think that's something that I really want to be able to do here with this. And hopefully everybody kind of gets a little bit out of this. And so that's more or less, kind of the concept. My plan would be to kind of start rolling this out over the summer months once we kind of have our returning group, but then also our incoming freshmen, who would also be more available to kind of get connected with some alumni as well. If I'm looking at my list, we right now have 19 people that have expressed interest in being a part of this from alumni. So I'm pretty happy about that as well, actually. And so hopefully, we get a couple more here or there as well. But yeah, the plan would be to kind of roll things out over the summer months, get you guys connected with somebody who's on the current team, who, has some relation that would make it a good fit. I'm going to try to match people up based off of, the majors that you had, career paths that you're going down, even potentially, where you're currently living or where you were from originally, something where you guys have, already some sort of connection, hopefully to just make that, those conversations and relationships with the current players easier, and more beneficial. So, what questions does anybody have for me, that I can answer, now that you guys got me in person, virtually?
So you'll let the
Uh,
you'll let us know when there's a match, correct? If there's
Yeah,
someone.
that's my
Okay.
intention. So what I'll probably end up doing is I might follow up with each of you with a couple more questions just to make sure that, I'm matching you up with somebody that makes sense. But that would be what I would probably do, is end up getting some more information from you guys and then matching you with somebody that's on the current team, and then just getting you connected. I expect most of the interactions to be virtual, email, text, calls,
Okay.
Zooms like this, whatever works best for you guys. Like, essentially, I want to be able to turn it over into your court, and allow you and the current player that you're matched up with just to be able to have some organic conversations. Like, I'm not necessarily expecting, hey, on this day everybody's having a 2-hour phone conversation. It's more connect when it makes sense for you guys, with your schedules. And again, not looking for this to be something super time consuming, but just checking in on occasion, and just being able to, again, stay connected with that player, not necessarily just for this year, but potentially beyond as well, as they kind of grow throughout their college careers. And so that's ultimately what my hope is that, you know, while they're in school and beyond, that you guys can start to build some positive relationships that maybe actually stay connected beyond that as well. Just again, more organically, less forced by me, more or less just kind of get you guys connected, and then you can kind of take it from there.
Awesome.
What's their anticipation? What do you think they want out of this? Like, just besides guidance, but like, do you think they want to make this a weekly? I'm happy to give whatever time it needed, but what kind of time allocation should we think about budgeting? Like, is this a weekly, bi-weekly?
Yeah, I
Kind
wouldn't
of,
anticipate it to necessarily be weekly. I would think more like bi-weekly, monthly even. I guess depends on the time of year too, and what everybody's schedules look like. And sometimes even if it's just like a text checking in, asking how things are going, and then maybe setting up, a call if something like they have a specific question, that warrants more of like an actual conversation versus just a one word or one sentence answer. And I would just assume those would just pop up occasionally. But yeah, I just anticipate that it's like I said, kind of the guidance thing. Like I'm sure they have some, whether it's questions academically, related to your time at Whitewater and what you did and what worked well, or whether it's career advice, for beyond like after they graduate. If you have any thoughts or advice or connections that can also help them, maybe potentially with internships or things of that nature, kind of wherever it leads. But those are kind of the areas that I would anticipate would be things that they would, be looking for help with.
Do you think you're gonna plan something where like not that it has to be advertised, but that we could like come see a game and like, I don't know, grab ice cream afterwards or something? I don't know. Just like something like that in the fall to support them too.
Yeah, I think that would be really great. And typically what we have had, and we can probably even, maybe pair it up with it or look at a separate game, depending. But we always try to have like an alumni appreciation game as well, throughout the season. So we pick a game, have alumni appreciation. So like specifically, I'm inviting alumni to that game. But if it's more, that's also kind of like alumni centered, where you're really more wanting to hang out with each other, versus like necessarily getting together with your mentee. But we could also look at, doing something like that potentially, where we pick a game that works. Obviously I'm assuming a weekend would obviously be easier for more people, and then try to find a time where everybody could come and get to meet everybody, the mentors and the mentees. That would be kind of fun.
Sounds good.
Margot, Peyton, you guys are, I mean, so those that are on here that don't know, they literally are just graduated or graduating. So they played for me this year and agreed to be a part of this, which is really cool. So they're gonna know some of the players, obviously. Um, do you have any just thoughts in general on the program and what being very recent in your time as a student athlete, what would you kind of be looking for out of this?
I just think that this is a fun idea, and it'll just be nice. I think like I'm looking back at when I was a player, like just having that mentor that's older than me and just kind of um some different outside perspectives as well. I think it's one thing for you to talk to your teammates or your coach or your family, but it's another thing to talk to a player that actually like has been through it no matter the year. So I think that'll be a good thing, especially if like the mentorship is, helpful for a major or a career or something, but just in general, I think it'll be good to just have connections with the girls.
Okay, so I actually have Emily on the phone too, and she
Oh,
said she'll.
nice. Hi, Emily.
What's up?
I love it.
I think that this is a
Picture in
really cool
picture.
opportunity, and I hope that girls just make the most out of it. I hope that like you can encourage them to really utilize this because I would have liked this as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, sorry, I keep reading my things blurred. No, but I agree. I feel like a lot of us had very similar like majors or career paths, so it'd be good to kind of see different perspectives of how we went into like our specific field and kind of the paths and connections that we made throughout the way through college. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, and I just want to also say like thank you to you guys for agreeing to help with this because I mean, it's great for me to have this idea and want to pursue it. But obviously it's you guys that make this happen. So I really appreciate it because I know like this is something like extra time, you know, and like I said, I don't want it to be overly time consuming, but it does take some time, right, to just be involved at all. And so I really do appreciate it because I know everybody's busy and has a lot on their plate, but I do think it will go a long way to providing, you know, the current players with something very valuable that, you know, like the Peyton and Margot and Emily kind of mentioned that, you know, it'd be nice they just graduated, but to have had this would have been helpful. And you know, just thinking back to my time as a player as well, trying to navigate some of these things and just having an additional resource, somebody who lived what you know you're going through and just to get some insight and some guidance I think is really beneficial and just another person in your corner that you can trust that you know has your best interest at heart is a positive thing. So um, that's kind of all I really had. I just wanted to make sure that if there were any other questions that I covered them before kind of you know rolling it out. Like I said, I'll probably end up following up with you guys in the next couple of weeks with just some additional questions. That way I can make sure the matches make sense for everybody. Um, I'm ideally looking to just have one person with one player, but we do have right now 19 alumni, and we'll probably end up with like 28-ish players. Does anybody have an issue or a concern if you got matched up with a second person?
Mm-mm. That's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. Um, cool. And I'll probably just double check, you know, when I ask some of the other questions, you know, if somebody says no, I just want the one, like that's fine. I won't match you up with a second person, but just with the numbers the way they are currently, it might end up being that way. So that's why I'm asking. So awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of your evening and I'll be following up with all of you guys. But again, really looking forward to the program. I think it'll be something that everybody will kind of enjoy. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You bet.
I love you.
Love you too.
Whoops.